Welcome to Twinkle Talk Bedtime Story.
The Little Bear Who Counted the Stars. Deep in the Whispering Woods lived a curious little bear named Twinkle. He loved to explore, but most of all, he loved to gaze up at the night sky. Autumn leaves danced around their cozy den. Mama Celeste, with her warm fur and gentle smile, knew winter was coming. Soon, it would be time for their long, sleepy nap. One evening, as the first few stars twinkled like tiny diamonds, Twinkle snuggled close to his mother. "Mama," he whispered, "how many stars are there? Can we count them all?" Celeste chuckled softly. "Oh, my little one, there are far too many to count all at once, but we can count some of them, special ones, before we go to sleep." Twinkle's eyes lit up. "Really? Show me, Mama." He bounced with excitement, eager to learn this new game. Celeste pointed a gentle paw. "One," she said, indicating the brightest star. "That's our guiding star, always there to watch over us." "Two," Twinkle echoed, pointing to another star nearby. His little finger wobbled a bit, but his gaze was steady. Together they counted 3, 4, 5. Each star a tiny spark in the vast, dark blanket above them. Twinkle felt a warm, peaceful feeling spread through him. Soon, Twinkle's eyelids grew heavy. The stars blurred into a soft, shimmering dream. He nestled deeper into Celeste's fur, feeling safe and loved. "Good night, my little star counter," Celeste whispered, kissing his head. "Sweet dreams until spring." And as the last star they counted faded into the dawn, they drifted into their long winter sleep. The magical friendship of a princess and a dragon. In a kingdom of shimmering spires and bustling markets lived Princess Alara. She was not like other princesses. While they dreamed of grand balls, Alara dreamed of grand adventures. The kingdom whispered tales of the Shadow Peak Dragon, a fearsome beast said to guard untold treasures and breathe plumes of smoke. Everyone feared it, but Alara felt a different kind of pull, a curious flutter in her heart. "Perhaps," she mused to herself, "the dragon isn't so fearsome after all. Perhaps it's just lonely." With a brave spirit and a secret-packed lunch, Alara set off towards the Forbidden Mountain. The journey was long, through winding paths and whispering forests. Alara hummed a little tune to keep her spirits up, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the legendary creature. Finally, she reached the jagged peaks of Shadow Peak. There, nestled in a vast cave, was the dragon. It was enormous, with scales like ancient emeralds, but its eyes held a deep sadness. This was Cinder. Cinder lifted his head, a low rumble escaping his chest. Alara, though a little nervous, stood her ground. "Hello," she said softly. "My name is Alara. Are you all right?" Cinder blinked, surprised by her kindness. He explained, in rumbling growls that Alara somehow understood, that he wasn't fierce, just misunderstood. He longed for companionship, not conquest. Alara spent the afternoon with Cinder, sharing her stories and listening to his. She learned about his love for shiny pebbles and his quiet joy in watching the sunset. They laughed, a princess and a dragon, in the heart of the Forbidden Mountain. When Alara returned to the kingdom, she tried to tell everyone about Cinder. "He's not a monster. He's kind and gentle." But the villagers, steeped in old fears, shook their heads. Then, one day, a terrible storm raged. A great tree fell, blocking the river and threatening to flood the village. Panic spread, and no one knew what to do. Alara, remembering Cinder's strength, raced back to Shadow Peak. "Cinder," she pleaded, "the village needs your help." Without a moment's hesitation, Cinder soared into the stormy sky. With a mighty roar and a gentle push, Cinder moved the fallen tree, clearing the river. The villagers watched in awe as their fears turned to cheers. From that day on, Princess Alara and Cinder were celebrated, proving that friendship can indeed be found in the most unexpected places. The Grumpy Gnome and the Cheerful Fairy. Deep in the Whispering Woods lived Flint, a gnome who hadn't smiled in 100 years. His home was dark, his tea was bitter, and his favorite pastime was grumbling at the moss. One sunny morning, a tiny fairy named Pip fluttered by. Pip was made of giggles and stardust, and her smile was as bright as a sunflower. She saw Flint's frown from afar. "Good morning, Grumpy Gnome," Pip chirped, landing gently on a mushroom near Flint's window. Flint merely grunted, pulling his hat lower. "What's so good about it?" he mumbled. Pip wasn't easily discouraged. "Perhaps a sprinkle of morning dew will help," she declared, gently shaking a dewdrop from a leaf onto Flint's nose. Flint blinked, surprised, but still no smile. The next day, Pip returned. She performed a tiny, wobbly dance on a spiderweb, humming a cheerful tune. Flint watched, a flicker of something almost like amusement in his eyes, but his lips remained a straight line. "Why did the mushroom go to the party?" Pip asked, hovering upside down. Flint raised an eyebrow. "Because he was a fun GI." Pip burst into giggles. Flint let out a small, almost imperceptible puff of air. Pip noticed a small, intricately carved wooden bird on Flint's windowsill. It was beautiful. "Did you make this, Flint?" she asked, genuinely amazed. Flint nodded, a faint blush on his cheeks. "It's wonderful, Flint. You're so talented," Pip exclaimed. Flint had never received such praise. A tiny corner of his mouth twitched upwards, a hint of a smile trying to escape. Pip clapped her hands with delight. "You almost smiled," she cheered. Flint looked at the little fairy, then at his carved bird, and then, slowly, a genuine, if a little rusty smile spread across his face. From that day on, Flint still grumbled sometimes, but his smiles became more frequent. And Pip, the cheerful fairy, always knew how to bring out the sunshine in her grumpy gnome friend. The Enchanted Carousel. In the heart of Willow Creek Park stood a magnificent carousel. Its painted horses, graceful swans, and majestic lions gleamed in the sunlight, waiting patiently for the laughter of children. A new girl named Lily had just moved to Willow Creek. From her bedroom window, she could see the park, and most importantly, the carousel. It looked old, but there was a certain magic about it that caught her eye. Every day after school, Lily would visit the park. She'd sit on a nearby bench, watching other children ride the carousel, listening to its cheerful, tinkling music. She longed to ride, but something held her back. Her favorite was a beautiful unicorn with a shimmering mane and a golden horn. It looked as if it was about to gallop right off its pole and into the sky. Lily imagined soaring through clouds on its back. As dusk settled over Willow Creek, the park would empty. The carousel's music would fade, and its lights would dim, leaving it a silent, shadowy silhouette against the twilight sky. But one evening, something was different. From her window, Lily saw a faint, soft glow emanating from the carousel. Her heart thumped with excitement. She knew she had to investigate. Slipping out of her house, Lily tiptoed through the quiet park. As she got closer, the glow intensified, revealing the carousel spinning slowly, its animals seemingly swaying to an unheard melody. A kind, elderly man with a twinkle in his eye, who introduced himself as Barnaby, emerged from behind the ticket booth. "Welcome, dear Lily," he said with a warm smile. "The carousel has been waiting for you." Barnaby explained that the carousel only truly came to life when the moon was high, and it longed to take children on adventures to magical lands, powered by their dreams and imagination. Lily's eyes sparkled. Without hesitation, she pointed to the unicorn. "I want to ride Sparklehoof," she exclaimed. Barnaby chuckled and helped her onto the shimmering animal. With a gentle whir, the carousel began to spin faster and faster. The music swelled, and then, with a magical lurch, Sparklehoof lifted from its pole, carrying Lily up into the night sky. They soared past twinkling stars and a crescent moon, leaving the quiet town far below. The wind whispered secrets in Lily's ears as Sparklehoof galloped through the celestial expanse. Higher and higher they flew until they reached a kingdom made entirely of soft, fluffy clouds. Castles of mist floated gently, and rainbows arched across the sky. Lily dismounted Sparklehoof, her feet sinking into the bouncy cloud ground. She laughed with delight, feeling lighter than air as she explored the wispy pathways. "Try jumping," Sparklehoof neighed softly, nudging her gently. Lily hesitated, then took a deep breath. She had always been a little shy, but here, in the Cloud Kingdom, she felt brave. With a joyful whoop, Lily jumped. She bounced high into the air, giggling as she floated back down. She felt a surge of courage she hadn't known she possessed. As the first hint of dawn painted the sky, it was time to return. Lily hugged Sparklehoof tightly, promising to remember their adventure. They flew back, leaving the Cloud Kingdom behind. With a gentle bump, Sparklehoof landed back on the carousel. The magical glow faded, and the music softened, as if the carousel was settling down for a long day's rest. Lily thanked Barnaby, her heart full of wonder. She slipped back home, the secret of the Enchanted Carousel tucked safely in her heart. Back in her bed, Lily closed her eyes. She knew the carousel was just a carousel to others, but for her, it was a gateway to endless adventures, and she couldn't wait for the next moonlit night. The Gingerbread Man and the Sweetest Friend. In a cozy kitchen where the scent of cinnamon always danced, lived a kind gingerbread man named Pip. He loved to bake, but sometimes he wished he had a friend to share his delicious creations with. One starry evening, Pip decided to bake something truly special. He carefully mixed flour, ginger, and a sprinkle of magic, shaping the dough with great care. Into the warm oven went his creation. Pip watched patiently, his heart filled with hope, as the sweet aroma filled the air. Ding! Out popped a brand new gingerbread friend, perfectly golden and smelling wonderful. "Hello, Crumble," Pip exclaimed, his eyes twinkling with joy. Crumble blinked his sugary eyes and smiled. He was a little shy but very happy to meet Pip. Together, they decided to explore the quiet kitchen. First, they tiptoed past the sugar jar, which looked like a giant, sparkling mountain. Crumble giggled, imagining sliding down its sweet slopes. Then, they climbed onto a stack of warm, freshly baked cookies. "What a cozy hill," said Pip, as they snuggled into the soft, sweet cushions. They discovered a forgotten teacup, just the right size for a little gingerbread boat. They imagined sailing across a sea of warm milk. As the moon peeked through the window, Pip and Crumble found the perfect spot for bedtime. A soft, warm towel draped over a mixing bowl. "Good night, Crumble," whispered Pip. "Good night, Pip," whispered Crumble back. And as the kitchen grew quiet, two little gingerbread friends drifted off to sleep, dreaming sweet, sugary dreams. Who Lost His Twinkle? A heartwarming story about a little star who goes on an adventure to find his missing twinkle. only to discover it was inside him all along. High above the sleepy earth lived a little star named Aster. Aster loved to twinkle. Every night he would shine his brightest, sending happy sparkles down to the world below. But one morning, something was wrong. Aster woke up and felt dim. He tried to sparkle, he really did, but nothing happened. His beautiful twinkle was gone. "Oh dear," he whispered. "What shall I do?" Aster flew to the wise old moon, Chandra, who had seen many sunrises and sunsets. "My twinkle is gone, Chandra," Aster cried. Chandra listened patiently. "Sometimes, little one," she said softly, "the brightest light is not found, but remembered." Aster didn't quite understand, but he knew he had to try. He decided to go on an adventure to find his missing sparkle. He zoomed off, determined. Soon he met a speedy comet named Blaze. "Have you seen my twinkle?" Aster asked. "Perhaps it's caught in the sparkling nebula," Blaze suggested, pointing with his tail. Aster flew into the beautiful, swirling nebula. It was full of dazzling colors and glittering dust, but no matter how hard he looked, his twinkle wasn't there. Next, he spotted a majestic planet with shiny rings, Kronos. "Excuse me, Kronos," Aster called. "Could my twinkle be hiding in your magnificent rings?" Kronos allowed Aster to search, and Aster carefully explored every sparkling ring. But alas, his twinkle was nowhere to be found. Aster felt a tear well up. Feeling very small and lost, Aster drifted by a lonely, gray asteroid named Lithos. Lithos looked even sadder than Aster felt. Aster forgot all about his own sadness. "Oh, dear Lithos," he said gently. "Why are you so sad?" He nudged Lithos kindly, and then a tiny warm spark flickered deep inside Aster. Aster gasped. His twinkle wasn't lost at all. It had been inside him, waiting for him to share his kindness. With a whoosh, his sparkle burst forth, brighter and happier than ever before. He had found his twinkle, not by searching, but by caring. The Boy Who Dreamed in Colors. In a quiet little town lived a boy named Pip. Pip wasn't like other children who dreamed of toys or adventures. Pip dreamed in colors. Not just any colors, mind you. His dreams were a swirling, sparkling kaleidoscope of every shade imaginable. Reds that danced, blues that hummed, yellows that giggled, and greens that whispered secrets. One morning, as the sun peeked over the rooftops, something peculiar happened. A tiny, shimmering streak of rainbow appeared on Pip's windowsill, like a forgotten brushstroke from the night. Pip rubbed his sleepy eyes. Did I leave my paintbrushes out? He wondered, but he didn't own any paintbrushes. He touched the colors, and they felt like morning dew, cool and bright. The next morning, it was even bigger. A magnificent arc of rainbow stretched from his bedroom window, over the roof, and gently touched the old oak tree in his garden. Soon the townspeople started to notice. Mrs. Gable, who always watered her petunias at dawn, gasped. Mr. Henderson, on his way to the bakery, stopped dead in his tracks. Pip watched from his window, his heart thumping like a drum. He hadn't meant for his dreams to escape. What if everyone thought it was strange? What if they didn't like the colors? But then he saw someone approaching his house. It was old Mrs. Periwinkle, known for her kind smiles and even kinder words. She wasn't frowning, she was beaming. "Oh, Pip, my dear," she called out, her voice soft and gentle. "These colors are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Are they yours?" Pip, a little shyly, nodded. "They're from my dreams." Mrs. Periwinkle clapped her hands. "From your dreams? How wonderful. Our town has always been a little gray, but now it's bursting with joy." Other townspeople gathered, their faces now filled with smiles and awe. Encouraged by their delight, Pip began to dream even bigger, even brighter. Each night, his dreams painted a new masterpiece across the town, turning ordinary walls into canvases of wonder. Soon, the quiet little town was no longer gray. It was a rainbow haven, a place where every corner held a splash of magic, all thanks to the boy who dreamed in colors, Pip. The Mermaid's Lullaby. Deep in the shimmering blue ocean lived Coralia, a mermaid with a heart as warm as the sunbeams that pierced the waves. Her voice was her most precious gift, a gentle melody that brought peace to all who heard it. As twilight painted the surface in hues of lavender and gold, the ocean floor was still a flurry of activity. Crabs scuttled, fish darted, and octopuses played hide and seek. It was a wonderful, but very noisy place. Coralia watched her friends, their energy boundless. They need a little help finding their sleepy dreams, she thought, a soft smile gracing her lips. She found a quiet spot amongst the swaying anemones. Then, Coralia began to sing. Her voice, like liquid moonlight, drifted through the water. It was a lullaby, ancient and sweet, a song woven from the ocean's own gentle whispers. First, a grumpy old pufferfish, who usually huffed and puffed all night, felt a wave of calm wash over him. His spines softened, and his eyes grew heavy. Next, a school of tiny, energetic clownfish, who had been chasing each other all evening, began to slow their playful dance. They nestled into their cozy anemone home, one by one. Even a busy seahorse, who was always collecting shiny pebbles, paused his work. He yawned a tiny, bubbly yawn and curled his tail around a piece of seaweed, drifting off to sleep. The majestic sea turtle, usually on a long journey, found a soft patch of sand. He tucked his flippers in, closed his ancient eyes, and dreamt of warm currents. Soon, the entire ocean grew quiet. The bustling became still. The darting became dreaming. Coralia's lullaby had worked its magic, bringing peace to every corner of the deep. With a happy sigh, Coralia felt her own eyelids grow heavy. Her job was done. She drifted softly onto a bed of soft moss, her lullaby fading into a silent, sweet dream until the morning sun would wake the world anew. The Moon's Bedtime Story. "Hello, little ones," whispered the moon, a soft silver glow spreading across the night sky. "It's me, Luna, watching over you as the world gets ready for sleep." First, the little fox, Flicker, tucks his bushy tail around himself, finding a cozy spot beneath a whispering oak tree. His day of playful pounces and curious sniffs is done. Mama bird and Papa bird gather their little one, Pip, close in their nest high in the branches. They sing a quiet lullaby, a rustling song of leaves and gentle breezes. Papa bird watches over them, his feathers ruffled slightly by the evening air, ensuring all is safe and sound before he too closes his eyes for the night. Down by the quiet river, a little boat bobs gently on the water, its sails furled, dreaming of new adventures when the sun returns. The river itself slows its flow, a sleepy murmur. The flowers in the garden fold their petals, one by one, like tiny hands closing for a peaceful rest. They drink in the cool night air, preparing for the morning's dew. Even the busy bees, after a day of buzzing from bloom to bloom, are tucked away in their hive, dreaming of sweet nectar and golden honey. And in a cozy bed, a little girl named Alara snuggles deep under her blankets, her favorite teddy bear held tight. Her eyelids are heavy, her breathing soft and even. The world is quiet now, a symphony of soft snores and gentle sighs. All creatures, big and small, are safe in their slumber, guided by my watchful light. So close your eyes, little one. Drift off to dreamland, knowing that I, Luna, will be here, shining bright until the sun wakes you with a brand new day. Sweet dreams. The Secret of the Whispering Willow Tree, a magical story about a group of animal friends who discover a secret world hidden inside an old willow tree. Deep in the Whispering Woods lived three best friends, Renard the curious fox, Brock the cautious badger, and Pip the playful squirrel. Their favorite spot was near an ancient, gnarled willow tree. The willow was known for its long, drooping branches that seemed to whisper secrets in the wind. But to the friends, it was just a grand old tree, perfect for games of hide and seek. One sunny afternoon, while playing near its roots, Renard noticed something peculiar. A faint, shimmering light seemed to pulse from deep within the tree's bark. Pip, always quick to investigate, scampered up the trunk. "Look," they chittered, pointing a tiny paw at a small, almost invisible opening hidden amongst the rough bark. Brock, ever the careful one, peered at the dark opening. "It looks a bit spooky," he rumbled. But Renard's eyes sparkled with adventure. Only one way to find out what's inside. One by one, they squeezed through the narrow entrance. Inside, they found not darkness, but a winding tunnel bathed in a soft, ethereal glow. It felt as if they were stepping into a dream. The tunnel opened into the most breathtaking place they had ever seen. A vast, cavernous world stretched before them, illuminated by bioluminescent plants and sparkling crystals. Glowing flowers bloomed in impossible colors, and tiny, shimmering streams flowed over polished stones. The air hummed with a gentle, magical energy. From a high perch, a pair of wise, golden eyes watched them. It was Olwen, the ancient owl, guardian of the Whispering Willow's heart. "Welcome, little ones," she hooted softly. Olwen explained that the willow tree was a keeper of dreams, a place where the forest's hopes and wishes were nurtured until they were ready to bloom in the world outside. The friends promised Olwen they would protect the secret of the Whispering Willow, understanding the importance of its magic. They felt a new sense of responsibility and wonder. As they emerged from the tree, the world outside seemed brighter, more vibrant. The Whispering Willow now held a special magic for them, a secret whispered on the wind, forever in their hearts. The sleepy sloth who wouldn't go to bed. In the heart of the emerald jungle lived a little baby sloth named Pip. While all the other jungle creatures were getting ready for their long, peaceful sleep, Pip was wide awake. "Time for bed, my little leaf lover," whispered his mama Willow, her voice as soft as a cloud. She gently nudged him towards their cozy sleeping branch. But Pip just giggled. "No, Mama, I want to play. The night is just beginning, and I don't want to miss anything." He watched as fireflies danced like tiny stars, and the moon cast long, silvery shadows. "What can I do now?" he wondered, as the jungle grew quieter and quieter. Pip decided to try swinging on a long, bouncy vine. Whoosh! He swung, but his movements were getting slower, and his grip wasn't as strong as usual. He almost slipped. Next, he tried to count all the leaves on a nearby tree. 1, 2, 27. Wait, was that 27 or 28? He kept losing his place. A big, wide yawn stretched across his face, but Pip quickly covered his mouth. "No, no, no, I'm not tired," he insisted, though his eyelids felt heavier than coconuts. Mama Willow peeked over from her sleeping branch, a soft smile on her face. "Even the busiest bees need their rest, my sweet Pip," she murmured gently. Pip's head began to nod. He tried to keep his eyes open, but they just wouldn't listen. The jungle sounds, which had seemed so exciting, now sounded like a lullaby. He tried one last game, pretending to be a speedy jungle cat, but his prowl was more of a slow, sleepy crawl, and he kept bumping into branches. Finally, Pip couldn't fight it anymore. He found the softest, warmest spot on a branch, curled into a little ball, and let out a tiny, happy sigh. Mama Willow watched over her sleeping baby, a loving gaze in her eyes. Pip was finally dreaming sweet jungle dreams, ready for a brand new, energetic day tomorrow.